Hello there, this is Bibi Cameron here, and I'm just passing by to share a very easy stamping technique and also an idea to use silhouette stamps or bold stamps. So you will be able to make a variety of projects. I make cards and also a small gift box that I have here, but the sky is the limit. And as these are easy and quick projects, I also use pre-printed banners that you can add to your cards or projects in different ways. All the supplies I'm using in this video are listed in the video description and on my blog. So today I'm going to be using this large stamp called Night Before Christmas. This stamp measures 6 by 8 inches, and I'm going to start by placing half sheet of cardstock on the MISTI, and I'm using here low tack tape to keep that sheet in place. You can also use a double-sided adhesive underneath the paper if you want to. And this stamp is not just a solid piece. It has 3 different pieces that you can put apart, and that will allow you to stamp the different parts of the image using different ink colors if you want to. I'm going to place the whole stamp on the MISTI, and I'm going to make sure that this is aligned with the edge of the MISTI. And then I'm going to close the lid of the MISTI, press down so that the stamp is going to adhere to the MISTI lid. If you are new to stamping, this is a stamping platform or a tool to stamp multiple times in the same spot to achieve crisp images, and it will save you tons of paper because you will never get the stamped image wrong again. So using the MISTI or any other stamping platform is essential to apply the technique I'm going to apply today. So I'm stamping here the images using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. This is a pigment ink, is waterproof, and is designed to use with water-based mediums. If you use this ink with alcohol markers, it's going to bleed and it's going to be a hot mess. If you see there, I'm stamping this twice on the same spot because I really want these images to be super black. And now I'm going to do exactly the same using the other half sheet of cardstock. The only thing you need to bear in mind here is to not pass your hands over the image because the VersaFine ink is slow drying and you can just smear the ink over the panel and it's going to spoil your panel. So just be careful or use a heat tool to heat set this before continuing. Next, I'm going to clean the stamp, and I'm going to make sure that I don't have any of that ink on my fingertips because it happens very often that I transfer that ink to my projects and I have to repeat everything. And that is not fun at all. So I'm using here a wipe, and once the stamp is clean, I then grab the other part of the stamp and I put it in place just like that, and then I remove the other 2 pieces. This one here at the bottom is very easy, and for this one here I just use a tool to do that. Now we are going to stamp the background, and I'm going to start by applying the ink directly on the stamp using different ink colors just like that. And pay attention because I'm leaving a space between each ink color on the stamp. So once I have done this, I'm going to use different blending brushes to blend these ink colors because I want the pink to be pink, the orange to be orange, and the yellow to be yellow. And if you use the same brush, you will blend that all completely, and that's not the idea. So I'm going to stamp this just like that. And the very first time you do this, the ink color is going to be very subtle. You can just leave it like that, or you can repeat the process. So that's the idea I wanted to share with you today. Instead doing the ink blending on your panels, you can do the ink blending on your stamp using blending brushes, and that's it. Simple as that. I haven't seen this before. Maybe someone did it. Nothing is new in this industry really. No one owns the ideas, but here I'm going to show you how everything started. I was doing this and I was just applying the ink directly from the ink pad on the stamp, and then I was stamping, and I got those patches of colors on my backgrounds, and I said, no, this is not what I want to. I want something soft. I want something subtle. I want a nice degradation of color in that background. How I can do that? And sometimes the most simple and silly ideas comes to your mind at last. So I start using blending brushes, and that worked. It worked like a charm. So let's get back to the project when I knew what to do. You can get crazy with this. You can apply as many ink colors as you want on the stamp and blend them. And I was like, wow, this is a lot easier than doing ink blending directly on the panel. So first time I do this, and after almost 10 years of stamping, I can't believe it. I haven't never done this. And well, I highly recommend you to give it a try and to have some fun. It's so easy to do and it's addictive. And I thought this is awesome because you can mass produce cards. You can make a bunch of Christmas cards, easy, quick, and nice enough cards to share with our friends this Christmas. And I love it. So there you go. I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ink colors on that panel. What do you think? This even looks like watercolors, but I know that this will change a little bit when it dries. Okay, now I'm going to stamp the other panel. I'm going to speed the video and I'm going to shorten all those clips because you don't have to see this over and over, and then we are going to make a couple of projects really quick. And I also decided to spray this panel with water just to see how the ink is going to react to that water. I'm going to use kitchen paper to lift the ink, and as a result I get many little white spots created by the water on the panel. So here I have different panels, even the one that I messed up at the very beginning, and I'm going to make something with them. But before doing that, I also want to show you something else. When you have this kind of silhouette images, you can also use stencils to complete a scene. So I'm going to use here this stencil that is actually a super large stencil just released by Simon's Stamp as well. And I'm going to apply Black Soot Distress ink, just like that. Once this is done, I'm going to remove the stencil, and you can see that those trees are framing the scene. So from here you can have more ideas to use this kind of supplies. And to finish this, I'm going to use a water-based marker. This is a Nuvo glitter marker, and I'm adding color to the windows on those little houses. You can use also color pencils or any other water-based coloring medium, but avoid using alcohol markers because the VersaFine ink is going to bleed. And the next thing you need to do is to trim or die cut your panels to the size you need. You can also splatter these panels with some inks, acrylic paints, or you can also apply a sparkle silk as I'm doing here. This is by Spellbinders and it's very beautiful. You can also apply this on stamped images to add shine. I'm going to allow this to dry overnight, and tomorrow I'm going to come back and I'm going to die cut these panels. I think that these are ideal for slimline cards, but if you notice here, this die that is designed to die cut a slimline panel is larger, but we can still use it to die cut a shorter panel for a slimline card. So I'm going to use low tack tape to keep the die in place, and then I'm going to run this through the machine. Then I'm going to trim the excess of paper, and I'm going to place the die over this panel again, making sure that the die cut pattern on that panel will be aligned with the new cut. And for that, you just press the die against the paper and you will feel that the die almost fit in place. Then you need to use low tack tape to keep it in place and run this again through the die cutting machine to finish the die cutting, so that you will have a perfectly die cut panel. All that is next is to adhere this to a card base, trim any excess of paper, add a banner, and embellish. These are 3 super easy slimline cards. Here I have a large card made using the whole panel. This measures 5.5 inches by 7 inches 3/4. And I also made a little gift box just to give you an extra idea. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and make sure to visit my blog today. We are having a blog hub and giveaways. The link to the post is in the video description, so I hope you can pay me a visit. Thank you very much for watching and happy crafting. Bye!